distanced themselves from the comments today, but not the candidate. Andrea Saul put out an email saying, quote, Governor Romney disagrees with Richard Mourdock, and Mourdock's comments do not reflect Governor Romney's views. We disagree with the policy regarding exceptions for rape and incest, but we still support it. Brian Romney has already endorsed Mourdock and campaigned alongside him back in August in Indiana.
All right, Tom, comments like that, of course, putting women's rights in the forefront again this election. And a lot of talk about subjects such as abortion, contraception, and health care funding. And we're going to continue to explore this now. Joining us to discuss the impact of women voters, Susan Modet, the president of the D.C. chapter of NOW, the National Organization of Women. Also here, Kristen Hawkins, executive director of Students for Life of America. Thank you both for coming in tonight. Kristen, I just want to give you a chance to respond to those comments and give us your thoughts on what he said and then his clarification.
Sure. Well, I think we need to start off by talking about how rape is an act of war against the woman. And I think this is a very difficult issue to talk about in our 30-second soundbite culture. We cannot begin to talk about the devastation that rape causes on the woman and her family. But I think we need to commend Mr. Mourdock for his statements, because if you heard what he just said, he said that life is a gift from God, and I couldn't agree with him more. I have a friend, Rebecca, who was, they attempted to abort her twice, and she actually survived. Her father, her birth father, is a rapist, but that does not make Rebecca any less of a person, any less of a human being than me.
Susan, I want to talk about the political climate when we talk about these issues, and how do comments like Mourdock's and Aiken's play a role in the presidential race? Is it fair to paint other candidates with a broad brush because somebody in that same political party happened to have some other views?
It's not just because they're members of the same political party. These aren't just the comments of a couple of random candidates in Missouri and Indiana. These are the beliefs of Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan. And we know that because Mitt Romney, not only, as you mentioned, failed to rescind his endorsement of Mourdock, and continues to appear in an ad endorsing him on television.
The campaign did come out and disagree with it and say they did agree with those comments.
Well, Mitt Romney's been distancing himself from a lot of these positions lately when they turn out to be politically unpopular for this particular role that he's running for. But his actions speak a lot louder than his words, and by choosing a running mate in Paul Ryan, who also believes that women shouldn't have access to pregnancy termination in the case of rape, says a lot more than what he's willing to say just to get a new political gig.
And Kristen, the economy is the issue number one, at least it seems, for most of America. And it's been an issue for a while these days, but women's issues are getting a lot of attention. What do you think now?
Well, I think it's interesting. We have 20 million people employed. Gas prices, staple food, as much as bread and milk, is at all-time high. And you see the president's campaign, the National Democratic Committee, running to these extreme cases, trying to scare women. And I actually find this pretty misogynistic for them to claim that giving me free $9 a month birth control is going to put food on the table. And I think we're seeing this time and time again. But what we need to understand is that President Obama is an extremist on abortion. We did a poll this summer of 18 to 24-year-olds, the most liberal voting bloc in our society. Only 9% of 18 to 24-year-olds in America agree with President Obama and the Democratic Nationalist Committee for Our Nation, which is abortion on demand in all 9 months, funded by U.S. taxpayers.
Susan, we got about 30 seconds, but I'll give you the last word.
Sure, it's, I think women and men both want to focus on the economy, but they're getting forced to focus on these issues because these extreme beliefs are coming out. And, contraception is related to the economic issues. Over a woman's lifetime, she'll spend about $18,000 paying for contraception, and that is a lot of money.
All right, Susan Modet, president of the D.C. chapter of NOW, and Kristen Hawkins, executive director of Students for Life of America. Thank you guys for coming in.
Thank
you, ladies. It is one of the